Lesson 7-6. Solving inequalities in graphing. So we've been solving equations using this process, these steps for proving the solution. When you're given an equation, you have to get the variable by itself on one side, right? And you have to add the opposite of the terms to eliminate them on one side, right? Yep. And then you have to get all the variables on one side or the other side. And then multiply or divide to get the variable by itself, to isolate the variables both. And then you got a solution. Well, when you're dealing with an inequality, it means that the sides are not necessarily equal. Okay, this says n is greater than 5. And so in order to get the solution, you have to graph this. The solution is actually the graph, because this could have an infinite number of solutions. Any number that is bigger than 5 is a solution. And we're going to be getting into graphing next chapter. So I'm going to start talking to you in terms of graphing to get solutions. More and more. Graphs that are on the coordinate plane. So this is a one-dimensional graph, either right or left. We're going to be having 2 dimensions. We're going to be graphing 2 numbers, an ordered pair of numbers. So that's what's coming. That's why we're going to be talking about graphing. So these are called inequalities because the sides are not necessarily equal. The solutions are not necessarily equal to the number that you get. And so when you're solving them, you simply solve them following the same steps. But when you get to the end, you have to decide, should I keep the solution or the symbol pointing the same direction, or do I need to reverse the sign? Let's look at this one. So we've got 5n plus negative 2 is greater than or equal to 23. You know how to solve this already. You've got to get the 5n by itself. So we add 2 to both sides. And then 5n plus 0 is 25. That means 5n is equal to 25. And then divide by 5 to get n by itself. And then divide by 5 on the other side to get the solution. Now, that means that n is greater than or equal to 5. Now, with inequalities, you have to graph them to show the solution. And if you have this kind of a symbol, a greater than or equal to sign, or less than or equal to sign, what kind of dot do you use? A solid dot. A solid dot, right. And if it's a greater than or less than sign, Kaden? An open dot. What does the open dot mean? Then, what's the open dot mean? If you use an open dot when it doesn't have the equal sign as a part of the solution. Yeah, and it means that the 5, or the number that you got, is that part of the solution? No. Nope. Whereas, if it's a solid dot, the number could be part of the solution. Okay? This number is included in the solutions, the possible solutions. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Let's go to the next part. And that is that with inequalities, in order to find the proper solution, you have to reverse the sign when the coefficient is negative. So, when you have the inequality, after you get the variable term, this number with the x by itself on one side, you might find that the coefficient is negative, like in this one. 9 minus x is greater than 10. Well, first thing you need to do is get the x term by itself. So add negative 9 to both sides. And then negative 1x is greater than 1. Negative 1x is greater than 1. So that means in order to find what positive x is, you have to divide by negative 1. Right? Or multiply by negative 1. And when you do that, you have to reverse the sign in order to get the solution. Okay? If you were to check this answer and you forgot to reverse the sign, the numbers that you put in wouldn't be true. It wouldn't make the inequality true. It wouldn't make the statement true. Okay? So, for example, x, the number for x that if you were checking this, x would have to be less than negative 1 in order for the solutions to be true. Like, for example, let's say you check 0. Is 0 a possible solution? If you didn't reverse the sign, then it would say x is greater than negative 1, right? So then would 0 be a possible solution? Is 0 greater than negative 1? Yeah, so when we could check it with the number 0. If we put 0 here, 9 minus 0 is greater than 10. Is that true? No, it's not true. 9 is not greater than 10. So if you had forgotten to reverse the sign and you checked it, it would not check. Now let's check it by reversing the sign. So let's pick a number like negative 2. Let's pick a number like negative 2. Because negative 2 would be part of the solutions. Negative 2 is less than negative 1, right? If you put negative 2 here, then it would say 9 minus negative 2 is greater than 10. Minus negative equals plus. So it would mean 9 plus 2 is greater than 10. And that is true, isn't it? 9 plus 2 is 11, and 11 is greater than 10. So that shows you have to reverse the sign, and that works every time you multiply or divide by a negative number at the end. Whenever you have to solve it by getting rid of the negative coefficient, you have to reverse the sign to get the solutions. Okay? So, any questions? Let's do some problems from your assignment. Okay? Number 3, 10 plus 4a is less than negative 6. 379, page 379. 10 plus 4a is less than negative 6. Solve and graph. Go ahead and start. So in the first one, what would you do first, Jacob?
I don't know.
Well, we have to get 4a by itself, right, on one side.
Okay.
So now what would you do first?
I don't know.
What would you have to get rid of the 10?
Yes.
How do you get rid of the 10?
You take it away.
No, you have to use an operation, a math operation.
You subtract 10.
Subtract 10 or add negative 10. Yep. If we just subtract 10 over here, what we're really doing is,
Negative 16.
yeah, adding negative 10. Yep. So negative 16 is on the right side. 4a is left on the left side. How do you solve it now?
Divide both by 4.
Divide both sides by 4. Should we keep the sign the same direction? Why? Yeah, because this is positive 4a. It's not negative 4a, it's positive 4a. We have to divide by a positive to get the solution. So this is the solution, and now you have to graph it. Now, how do we graph it? Aiden? Yep, to the left of 0, put negative 4. Mark the number with what kind of dot? An open dot. And which way should we draw the arrow to shade? To the left. Why? Because a is less than negative 4. Yep. Good. Number 9. What would we do first? Melina? Okay.
You would get rid of 1 by adding 1.
You mean the negative 1 then,
Yeah.
right? So you get rid of the negative 1 by adding 1. So then on the right side you have 12. On the left side you have negative 2x. Divide both sides by negative 2. And
X is first you flip it on the side.
yeah, because this is a negative.
Yeah.
Because you have to divide by a negative in order to solve it. We have a negative 2 in front of the x. So we have to divide by negative 2. Good. X is greater than negative 6. Graph it. Andrew?
Open dot for negative 6.
Very good. You guys got this. Okay? So do 1 through 14. Yeah, or sorry, 3 through 14. 3 through 14.